can join us for Jay's Halftime Blitz, the sports card rip and ship show. You can get cool products, so make sure you check us out. Game Day Sports Cards. Let's go monster hunting.
We are live.
All right, boys.
That's right.
What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing?
Good. Another Game Day Huddle. It's what, Volume 3?
It is. It is.
Volume 3?
Volume 3.
Episode 3, Volume 3?
We are now on our way.
We are on our way. Next stop, 300.
That's
Or-
right.
Sitting in a nice 80-degree weather in Las Vegas after watching that Green Bay game
Oh, man, that
last
was
night and
nice.
seeing the snow flurries, I was like, man, that sucks. It was 80 degrees today.
It's actually, when you watch those games, you're like, and you're sitting on the couch, you're looking around, you're like, okay, I could live in Las Vegas a little bit longer.
Exactly.
It's actually kind of nice, you know?
Exactly.
I talked to a lady the other day about that, just the fact that she's like, I've been here for like 29 years. She's like, I'm not going anywhere else. She's like, the heat that we get is so worth this.
It is. It is. Like
Trade-offs.
even just walking around, like when it gets to be like in the 50s, it's like it's freezing to us. Like I'm like wearing like heavy jackets and pants.
Yeah.
And you get people that like live in the Green Bay area and they're like, this is not cold. And I was like, no, this is freezing. This is freezing.
And it
thins
is.
out your blood.
It is cold. But, so, what'd you guys learn this week? What'd you watch? What'd you see? What you got?
I mean, you know, it pangs me because I'm truly a Chargers fan, but I'm watching this team like not get out of their own way. And you have opponents come in, you know, a Minnesota team that I don't want to call Minnesota not a good team, but they're not great.
No.
They're just a team.
Right. And they're a team that, yeah, it's an NFL and anything can happen in the NFL and teams show up every week and you never know like who gets up for what games or whatever it is. But you're starting to see some consistency of some issues here. And one of them is I don't like some of the play calling that's happening on the offensive side of the ball, like early on in downs. And what you're having is like, you know, Herbert goes, 20 for 35 yesterday? And I would say 12 of those passes were in catch-up mode.
Yes.
So he's literally not throwing the ball in the first half,
Right.
right? If you're running the ball and Eckler's only getting 44 yards for the game, you need to address if you are actually really running the ball or do what I think that the Patriots have done so well in the past is that if you can't do something, be good at what you can do.
Right.
Right?
Which is
And
throw the ball.
And I think that they're really missing that because you turn around, Keenan Allen had almost 100 yards yesterday. So,
Without even being seen, though.
right.
Like, you look at it, you're like,
Quietest
what?
100 yards ever.
You're like, he had 100. I was watching the game, I'm like, he's at like 86 yards, and I'm like, I haven't even seen him catch a pass. I don't even know when he caught those passes.
It was in catch-up mode.
Yeah.
Like, he had 3 catches on that final drive. But just the fact, like you said, with Minnesota coming into town,
Right.
and you have all the controversy with Dalvin Cook going on, with the whole stuff with the ex-girlfriend and all that stuff, like clearly they had issues coming in, and they were able to put those aside
Right.
and literally just punch them in the mouth.
And that's what I don't get, and I don't understand that. And so this concerns me with this team a little bit. Is
But-
that it's play calling because it's not what you have.
Isn't this the Chargers that we've always seen, though?
Every
Yeah, but
year.
that's early in the season.
I know, but
No, it's every year. It's
Every year,
because
they
I'm not.
do the
I don't dog on
same-
the Chargers either, but
Yeah.
every year it's the same.
it's like
thing.
these guys, they always have a good squad. They always have a good roster. Their coaches, like getting rid of the coach last year, I thought was a joke. Because what
Yeah.
did the coach do wrong? Maybe in some of those situations, but
Anthony Lynn?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. Now you bring in this new coach. They got probably the hottest quarterback in football, and you're not even showing them off.
Right.
It's like,
Well,
oh
and that's
my
the
God.
thing is that if you're playing catch up and you have Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, you have these guys. They better be throwing 55 passes if you're playing catch up, right? So that just tells me that there's not enough happening early on. This has happened the last few weeks. I don't know if they're playing and tweaking with things, if they thought that the AFC West was going to be a little bit more of a cakewalk for them. But I hate to tell you now, right? You have the Chiefs, and I'm sorry, but that Chiefs team that was there last night is a much different team than what we saw the last few weeks. And I saw that the ball was getting out of Mahomes' hand on point. Sure, he overthrew some guys. That's his MO. It's the Brett Favre thing, right? He's going to overthrow three guys a game horribly. That's going to be the thing. He's also going to throw the ball where no one else can get it, right?
Yeah.
And you're starting to see this like come together, and you're starting to see some of the teams as they turn a corner. And I go, did I think the Raiders were a threat to them? No, I really didn't, right? Raiders are a nice story, but I don't think
They're
they
a
were
pretender all year. I think all
Right.
of us thought they were a pretender all year.
But that Chargers team is now sitting there facing. They've got to come to Vegas again, right? Which is not going to be easy. They're going to have to go play the Chiefs again. They've got a tougher schedule, especially with some of that NFC East teams that have shown they're beating up on some of the AFC West teams a little bit, right?
I just feel like no one's taking control of that whole division.
They're
I
not.
feel like every team is like right next to each other. Like it even gives Denver hope because I don't think Denver's a very good team, but I don't see Bridgewater leading them to the playoffs. But it gives every team hope, and that's not what you want to do. Don't give these guys hope.
Did you see the Bridgewater Olay of the interception?
No.
Yesterday?
No, I missed that.
Oh my God! If I watched this live, and I told myself, "Oh my God! If I was a coach watching this back in the video room, I would never play him again." He threw the interception, and then it was a fumble. Instead of like diving, getting in the way, he literally just watched him run right by him and go for a touchdown.
Was it like Cam Newton in the Super Bowl that one year against Denver when he fumbled it and he just like laid there and
Right, yeah.
And let it.
Well, that's a little different. You're in the
That was
Super
a little
Bowl,
bigger.
you better go get it.
And he didn't.
And he didn't. So same exact thing. He's like, "What the hell are you doing, kid?
Yeah.
Like, you better." Your teammates are all going to watch this, and a lot of them are going to turn their back on that kid now because it was awful. Go back and watch it today.
And speaking of tackles, that was my last thought on the Chargers here. Is Derwin James had 9 tackles.
What a stud.
That's a problem.
But that's not good.
He's a stud, though.
Because his tackles are 15 yards deep.
Yeah.
But he's such a...
He is. He's a beast. He's an absolute beast. And you love seeing that. I want to see him be up in those tackles. But there has got to be guys that are getting... I mean, and it was a big separation. It was like he had 9 tackles and like the next closest guy had 4.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen. Not in today's NFL with as many flags that get thrown.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Right.
You got to have guys up there making tackles because the defense is on the field more.
Yep.
So Jay, what did you see this weekend?
What I saw was Las Vegas native Ramondre Stevenson.
What? Did you just call out a Las Vegas native?
I did. Ramondre.
Vegas sighting.
Hello!
Ramondre Stevenson finally got a shot to showcase. Now, he had shots in the preseason. We all know that. He actually killed it in the preseason. So everyone was thinking that he might be the lead dog over Damian Harris. Once he fumbled, that was out the door because Belichick ain't going to stand for that.
Right.
So once he fumbled, that was out the door. You didn't really see too much of him. Heading into the game, both guys are questionable. Stevenson and Damian Harris are both questionable with concussion protocol. Harris ended up sitting. Stevenson got the start. And what he did with that start was he took advantage of his opportunity. He had 20 carries for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also had 4 catches for 14 yards. So he just put an absolute hurting on the Browns defense. And let's face it, we all knew the Browns weren't going to be a Super Bowl contender, but they were actually playing well this season when Baker Mayfield's on the field. They obviously had their problems with Odell, not getting him the ball. Now he's gone, he's out of town. So they think they got rid of the cancer in the locker room. They should have played better than they did yesterday. They got just absolutely destroyed, 45-7. The Browns did, but Stevenson took advantage of his opportunity, and I like seeing that from him. It just means that there's going to be more of a committee. So from a fantasy perspective, that kind of sucks. But from an actual individual player standpoint, I'm glad to see him ball.
And I was going to say, knowing Bill Belichick and what he's done for the last 20 years, that's the last we've heard of Stevenson for the year.
Yeah, he might not play. He might not play again
because that's how he does it. He's like, all right, and now you're on the bench.
He does not care about your fantasy
No, he
team.
does
And
not.
that, to me, when you're talking numbers, is 100% true. But the one thing that I saw with him was he actually, on pass protection, was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that is a Belichick
That's
thing.
what will get you on the field.
That is what is going to get you on the field. And I don't think that, I can't recall him missing an assignment. So he showed up. He chipped some guys off in some spots, and they were able to put some big plays up because of it. So I think that that's an important thing too, and that's something to always watch with a Belichick guy.
And
watch for that.
Another stellar day for your boy Mac Jones in that game too.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He didn't throw for a ton of yards, but he's very efficient and had a couple touchdowns too.
There was a throw yesterday that I just not many guys make that throw, and it's literally over the top. Perfectly placed where he's either going to slightly overthrow his guy or only his guy is going to catch it in double coverage. And he wasn't afraid to throw it, which tells you that it's something they've worked on and they've done. It was really impressive.
Yeah, and Jake brings up that Rahamdre Stevenson is from Centennial High School. Most of our pros that come out of Las Vegas, we all think of Bishop Gorman.
That's the first thing you think of.
You think of, hey, Bishop Gorman, they put all the pros in. They've had, DeMarco Murray, you name it. Any pro that comes out of Vegas,
Right.
90% of them are coming out of Bishop Gorman High School. But
He's Centennial, huh?
Yeah, my neighbor. He lives right by me.
Go Ramondre.
Yeah, I'm going to go knock on his mom and dad's door tonight. Say, hey, your son did a great job.
Can you get him into the shop?
Yeah, that's next.
Yeah,
over the
that's
summer.
off-season? Okay.
Yeah, over the summer we'll
That's
get him
next.
in here.
You gotta love bringing it back to a local side too, which is really
Absolutely.
I love it.
That's fun.
What did you see this weekend?
Well, Captain America, baby. Captain America comes in.
The movie?
No, what, are you out of your mind? Come on. Christian Pulisic brings the win in. He had the game-winning goal against Mexico, our arch rivals.
Yeah.
We hate Mexico. The game was played out in Ohio somewhere. I think Columbus maybe. But it was incredible to watch. If you're not a soccer fan, the World Cup is coming up in Qatar this summer, 2022 in Qatar. I don't know how they're going to live. It's probably going to be 150 degrees for every game. So these guys are going to be falling out left and right. But it's going to be so much fun to watch this team play over in the World Cup. America hasn't, we missed the World Cup this last time.
Yeah.
We didn't make it, and it was a big shock, and everybody was in awe, like, what's going on? But these young kids, they don't know that they're not supposed to be good.
Right.
They're all young. They're all under 25. They're playing their asses off.
So they're hungry.
Hungry as they are. And you go watch this team play. They're a lot of fun. They have a little swagger about them. They talk a little trash. After Pulisic scored his goal, he lifted his shirt up and he said, man in the mirror, because one of the Mexican defenders said, America has always been in the mirror of us, is what he came out and said. So Pulisic stuck one right back to him and said, no, I'm the man in the mirror.
Oh, I like it.
But he's been hurt. He does have a thing about getting hurt. He's been hurt for a while, but he comes back in. They put him in right after halftime. Brought a spark to the United States. He ends up scoring a huge goal. We went on to win the game 2-0. But it was fun to watch. I'm screaming like a little kid because you can see the jersey right behind Jay's head there. I'm a huge Pulisic fan. He's the guy, Captain America. So that's what I saw this weekend.
Well, and you think of guys like that too. Like the one thing that I think an America World Cup has really been missing, like a real true, like almost international type superstar, and he's got that chance. He's got
Absolutely.
that ability to be an international superstar, and we haven't had that. And that's going to bring a lot more attention to everything, and that puts a lot more pressure both on us, but I think also on other teams, because it started to become, the U.S. games it's kind of a walkthrough, and now it's like, wait, we got to watch and game plan, and so.
Well, I'll start watching them. I'll watch them in the World Cup.
You will be watching because we're going to watch every game right here in game day. We'll put it on all the TVs.
I can't wait for the 1-0 games. I can't wait.
You're going to be so excited.
It is.
And we'll be jumping up and down.
1-0 after an hour and a half of running around is very exciting to me.
Hey, this one ended 2-0.
There you go.
In the World Cup,
Did they pull the goalie like they do in hockey or no?
No, they don't.
An extra defender? They don't do that?
They do bring him out of the box a little bit to
Okay.
try to help out when they're trying to pressure.
Kind of an extra defender.
Yeah.
You've seen a few things like that. Real quick, I just want to mention Monday Night Football tonight. We have halftime, and we have Jay doing rip and ships for you guys. So make sure you go on Instagram and you can catch that. And if you want to watch the alternate feed, so Eli and Peyton started that whole Monday night show. Phillip Rivers is going to be on tonight with the guys. And I think it's really unique because he's one of those future Hall of Fame quarterbacks that we've not really gotten a chance to really get to know him.
Right.
We know of him and all the kids and he's very country and all this stuff. But outside of that, you haven't really gotten to talk X's and O's. And I just want to hear how he and Peyton kind of correspond to each other.
That's the feed I watch. I watch the Peyton and Eli feed rather than the other feed because it's more entertaining to me because they're funny and they'll take jabs at each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And they actually will talk like X's and O's, like you said.
Yeah.
Some of the insight's great.
Yes, and I'm interested to have Rivers on there because like his name has been floated out there with the New Orleans Saints, and he said he would listen if the Saints called. What's the over-under on how many kids of his you'll see in the feed, like in the background, running around or on the side?
Well,
he's got 9 of them.
Well, I was going to say, what does he have? 45 kids, I think now.
He's got 9 of them.
9 total.
So, 2.
I mean, I would guess that they're all off camera because they're all part of the production team. Like he has his own built-in production.
Maybe.
team.
Yeah, one's holding the boom mic, the other one's got the lighting.
Exactly.
But sometimes they pan out and pan around. There's got to be a kid somewhere in the background.
No, there might be. You know what? I hope there's a prop bet somewhere. There's got to be somewhere offshore.
My pick is
there's
2.
a prop bet.
Cameron says 7.5 is the
Half the kid, is that like an arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see 7 full kids and 1 arm.
All right, it's time for Jay's fantasy roundup from week, what was it, 9?
Week 10.
Week 10.
Wow.
Jay's fantasy roundup week 10.
Feels like it's been so many games.
Well, I know. Well, we sit around, we wait for football season because all of us are football nerds, obviously. We sit around and wait, and then when it finally gets here after the long wait, it feels like it goes like that. Like we're already in week 10, and I know we have the extra week this year because of the agreement they made with 17 weeks, which, by the way, I'll speak on in a minute, that extra game. I have a theory on that. Let's jump right into it, though. The biggest news to me was obviously Odell Beckham, signing with the Rams. He was going to be brought along, I thought, kind of slowly, but then Robert Woods tears his ACL in practice. So now all of a sudden he is probably going to be on the field a lot more than we thought. I'm interested to see because McVay's already come out and said we're not going to force feed him. But he did say if you're open, Odell, Matthew Stafford will throw you the ball. So he's basically gave him a challenge. If you're open, we're going to get you the ball. And that's the way Stafford's been pretty much the whole season. Now, I do think he takes a backseat to Cooper Kupp, obviously, because they already have that rapport. But I'm interested to see Odell's numbers after tonight. I wasn't as interested with Robert Woods there, but now I'm really interested to see.
Target-wise, how many targets do you think?
I think that Odell ends up with somewhere in the seven target range.
I was thinking thick. Yeah, 6
that's
as
exactly
well.
what I was going to say, too.
He'll get 6 passes. He'll probably catch 4. 4 or 5 of the 6, and it'll probably be about the 70 to 80 yards range.
I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how this game goes, to see them get him an end zone target. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to get him a touchdown in his first game, just to let the world know, like, hey, we're a Super Bowl contender.
And that's
we
Matthew
just added.
Stafford.
Yes.
He's already thought about it. He's already in his mind said, I'm going to get him the ball somewhere in the end zone, try to make a play so that all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, Odell's back. You better look out.
Correct.
Even though in his mind he's like, I'm going Cooper Kupp all day long. But I want people thinking Odell's going deep and they better watch him.
Don't be surprised if he gets an end zone target.
Well, yeah, and you got to remember too that Stafford had Megatron at one point, and he understands how to get that big body receiver, that guy that can
superstar.
put his hands, the superstar.
He does.
He can put the ball in his hands.
Chase Young tore his ACL yesterday too. It's a Redskins defense that wasn't really that good, but I would say he was one of the bright spots on that defense. Now he's out for the rest of the year. Cam Newton sighting. Cam Newton came back to his old team, and then not only that, but got back in the game. And actually played well, and now they're already saying that he's going to be brought along as a starter next week. Sam Darnold's going to be missing more time than they thought originally, so Cam is all of a sudden thrust right back into that starting role with his old team, the Carolina Panthers. So I'm curious to see what this does for any kind of spike in even like his cards, because those taken a kind of a nosedive lately.
First thing I did yesterday, I seen him go into the game. I jump on eBay because I'm a card junkie, and that's what I do for a living. So I'm like, oh, he's in the game. Let me check this. So I jump on. I start looking at his stuff, his rookie cards and stuff, and some of them are still fairly cheap.
Right.
But instantly, all you do is see those that are on the bids start ticking up. Tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, because I jumped in on 3 of them, and then instantly outbid. So I jump in again, instantly outbid.
Isn't it nuts?
Nuts. You guys see what they see on the TV? Instantly go to eBay.
Correct.
Start placing bids.
It's crazy how it goes. Big Ben also could miss another week. They're saying he was on the COVID protocol, which would give another start to Mason Rudolph. Not a lot to be said there, but Big Ben's probably at the end of his career, so this could be curtains for him.
Does Mason Rudolph still have his head on straight?
He still has his head on straight, and he actually played well, good enough to get a tie against the Detroit Lions.
Which, that's another thing. That was in my what I saw this week, that I feel so bad to mention it, but I'm gonna mention it.
Don't feel bad.
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, sir, but that situation and that team, to play as hard as they did and to only be able to put 16 points up and tie against Mason Rudolph was a very, very scathing mark on his
I feel
career.
super sorry for Jared Goff when he goes home to his supermodel girlfriend at night.
and that stack of cash that he got from the Rams.
I feel terrible for the guy.
We all know this about Jared Goff. He will be holding a clipboard soon enough.
Yeah.
He will not be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
No,
This was his his one shot to get it right. He was going there. He's got a lot of young kids on that team to try to boost it up. I think he'll be the starter going in next year, but Detroit will be drafting a quarterback.
Well, Detroit has the number 1 pick overall currently on the list, so
and they will be drafting a quarterback.
Yes, they sure will. Aaron Jones also sprained his MCL. It looked a lot worse when you were watching the game. I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but he's only supposed to miss 1 to 2 weeks. My guess is they're probably going to hold him out until their bye, which is week 13. So they're not going to put him on the IR, but you won't have him for the next few weeks, which makes A.J. Dillon my number 1 pickup in the week for the waiver wire. He played well in his absence. He had 2 touchdowns. And the dude's a beast. I mean, the guy's a big heavy runner.
RPAs out and get him ready to roll.
Get him ready to roll because I
80
think
yards and he's
Dylan's gonna have a couple of good weeks here. And the last thing I wanted to ask too is you guys is this is kind of fantasy related, but it's also sports card related. Is like Jalen Hurts. So yesterday he joined an elite company in his first 10 games of the season for his team. He joined Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and RG3 back in his heyday for being the one of only 4 quarterbacks to pass for over 2,000 yards. Rush for over 500 yards and rush for 5 touchdowns in his first 10 games of the season. Why are we not seeing more of a jump, I guess you could say? Like he's nowhere near the status of the Justin Herberts, the Pat Mahomes, the Tom Brady's. Obviously, he's been doing it for 30 years.
The problem is everybody's mindset when it comes to running quarterbacks. It took Kyler Murray 3 years.
Yeah.
Just now this year, people are really investing in Kyler, saying, "Oh, shit, this guy's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. He's not just a good running back / quarterback, but he's a quarterback." And I think it's going to take Jalen Hurts time like that as well. For some reason, guys just don't believe you're probably going to get hurt at some point in every season if you're one of those running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. The one person that comes to mind that, started out as more of a running quarterback and now is the quarterback is Russell Wilson.
Right.
Like he started out as everybody, he runs around back there, he makes plays with his feet. But guess what? What are we looking at? 10 years later?
They made him a pocket passer.
And now he
scrambles when he has to, but it's not the first thing he looks for.
I'll tell you with this that I've noticed with Hurts, he's literally throwing to guys that were bagging groceries like 3 weeks ago.
Correct.
He is throwing to the nobodies of the NFL, and they are putting up numbers because of it.
But there's Eagles fans that I talk to that still think that they should draft a quarterback because they have those 3 first round. They have 3 first round picks, and right now they're on the top 10.
All three?
All 3 currently are in the top 10.
Oh my God!
Because they have their own. They have the Dolphins, and then they had somebody else is a terrible team. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but it might be the Jets maybe. But they have 3 picks that are all currently in the top 10. None of them are number 1 or 2.
Doesn't
but
matter.
they're all right there.
It's top 10 picks.
And so, do you trade now and start making some better acquisitions? Like, I don't know. In my opinion, I think they have the quarterback. He's more of a Kyler Murray light to me. He's not as good as Kyler, but I think he's right there. I don't think they need to start looking for another quarterback. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
And I think the regime that's in Philly right now is the regime that drafted Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So you know damn well they want to give this guy all the opportunities in the world to actually compete.
Well, Sirianni wasn't there. Roseman was there. The GM.
The GM was there, not the coach.
Right.
So the coach is filling it out. But to get rid of Carson Wentz, and I think we all can agree, Carson Wentz is a damn good quarterback.
Yeah, he's good.
I have a difference of opinion.
Okay, so we all can agree then. But I feel that Carson Wentz still can play the game. He goes out there every week with the Colts, and they get it done.
I think he's a good game manager.
Okay.
You know who comes to mind when I think of him is Alex Smith. Are you going to put Alex Smith in the Hall of Fame?
If he would have won one more Super Bowl.
I think he's good. He's good.
Are we judging every quarterback by the Hall of Fame? Because
there's a
3-year period I'd have taken Trent Dilfer over almost any quarterback in the league.
I don't know if I would have done that.
Just because of the fact that he managed the team well enough
he wouldn't lose you a game.
He's not going to lose you a game.
Yeah.
And that defense was so good during that time, play to your strengths. So my argument is, does it always have to be the guy's going to be a Hall of Famer?
It doesn't have to be that. When you look at his numbers, like I think that everyone goes crazy because the 1 year where he almost won MVP and then he got hurt. I think, in my opinion, that year that they traded off Nick Foles and let him walk, I think they should have kept Foles and they should have traded Wentz and his gigantic contract that they should have never paid him in the first place. They gave him that huge contract on a guy that had one good year, and in that good year he got hurt. Right. And now you gave him this mega multi-million-dollar contract. That should have never happened, in my opinion. They should have kept Foles because Foles was a good system quarterback. He wasn't great, but he was great for their system.
Right.
With Peterson.
Yeah, and
they got rid of him, and then they were never the same.
Yeah, and I think if they would have did that, you'd have seen a little bit different way they handled, because Foles would have brought up Hurts, trained him up a little bit, because that's the type of guy Foles is.
Correct.
Yeah. He doesn't have an ego. He doesn't.
Correct.
All he does is want to play the team sport and be that guy. So
and Foles has never been good anywhere else that he's gone, except for in the Philadelphia system with the Doug Peterson tree there.
Yeah. You're right. Moving on. This week's breaks. We started out, oh my goodness, with National Treasures Baseball dropped on Wednesday of last week.
Yeah.
Oh my. Was that a lot of fun? That was, and I just dropped.
That was crazy product coming out. Like some of the hits that were coming out, like some of the cards that came out, some of the stuff that they're doing with it was such a surprise. Even though like if you read ahead, you like had an idea there was like some of these like crazy things that could happen. But there were teams that were hitting that normally in this product aren't big hits.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they listened to the fan and said, "Hey, we got to make sure that we."
Yeah, there's very few when it comes to the baseball world. Most baseball guys are it's tops, and it's only tops. That's the only thing that brings money. There's very few products that Panini can put out in the baseball world that's going to explode. And people are going to be like, oh, crap. You know, we got the National Treasures, we got Immaculate, we got Impeccable. Those type of products that they put out, the higher end stuff that Panini puts out, guys don't care if, they don't have logos on it. The Babe Ruth card that we hit, which is out of 25 piece of the bat barrel, like, who can say that they have a piece of Babe Ruth's bat?
Right.
That's pretty freaking cool to hit something like that and be like, I now own a piece of Babe Ruth's bat.
Right.
Maybe that card doesn't sell for thousands of dollars, but it's still pretty cool to put that on your mantle and say.
Even in history, just like I said, I have a piece of one of the greatest players of all time.
Right.
I have a piece of his bat.
Well, and I think some of the stuff that I think about when I think about National Treasures is like Yankees players when you get pinstripes.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like those cards, like you're not getting those in other things and in other products. And if you do, it's so far and few between.
Yeah.
But it's something you can get here. And what I saw when I thought, watching the National Treasures, it seemed like a lot of people are really interested in this year's stuff. I saw an incredible response of people that even when a break would be full, going into the threads and being like, hey, when's the next one posting up? I miss this. I want in. And so I saw you say, hey, we've got to get more product. This is something that everybody wants to be involved with.
Right.
And you went out and did that.
Yeah, so we do have some more coming today. So we'll be dropping those. We'll probably be doing half cases of it just so we can spread the product out so more people can get into it, and also putting it into the mixers and that type of stuff. So be on the lookout. We'll start posting those up later on today with National Treasures Baseball.
Oh, that's so cool.
One thing we still have a couple boxes left is our repack product that we put together here at Game Day. It's called the Laundry Room product. It's $49 a spot. There's 3 boxes per break, and it's absolutely loaded. We loaded up with the biggest of biggest names, and the last break we hit a Justin Herbert auto. We hit a Kyler Murray auto. So we're hitting these guys that are upper echelon people. You get one baseball team and one football team for $49. It's a gamble, yes, because it's a high risk, high reward.
But everything's a gamble. You know what I mean? Like everything that you're buying, the National Treasure, everything's a gamble.
Because you don't know if you're going to hit anything.
But you're not spending $500 on a gamble. You're spending $50. You're spending $49 on a gamble. So in my opinion, like you said, it's high risk. It's not very high risk, but it's a really high reward.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's something that I mean, I look forward to those breaks because I just love seeing the stuff that comes
the different
out.
stuff.
Oh, what I love is when they put some stuff in that Jimmy didn't even realize was in there, and you see his face, he's like,
and then he gets surprised.
That's in there? Like,
yeah, that is true because there's we have 3 different guys here that all help and puts the product together. So there's stuff that they grab out of the showcase. I'm like, oh, okay.
Do you immediately blame your brother?
Of course, 100%. Because if he's the one that's going to do something like that just to kind of stick me in the side, knowing that, hey, I'm going to put this $600 card in here to help out the guys and just to piss me off or just to irk me a little bit.
But never any of his soccer cards.
He's the one. He's the one that everybody comes in and just compliments. He's good looking. You're so good at this. Like they do that because he's feeding them with products
I just
in their
heard.
laundry
I was
breaks.
sitting in here while we were prepping for this, and a customer came in. He's like, "Man, you're good at this. You're a great salesman." I hear him like stoking my brother's ego, and I'm like just sitting here thinking, "This guy is such a con." But he did. I do have to give him this. Him and Mr. Jacob Rivera were box battling yesterday. Some Chronicles UFC. So if you don't know what a box battle is, this is a lot of fun, and we do
These
it a
are
lot.
fun.
We do it a lot here in the shop. And we'll talk about the one that we did on trade night here in a minute. But yesterday they're box battling. So they did it. The highest valued card in the box takes the other person's box. So you both pay for a box. So they both were in for $400. It's not like it's chump change. They're paying $400 for the box. And then whoever has the highest valued card in their box takes that other person. So you could be spending $400 and walking away with zero.
Right.
So of course, Jacob Rivera pulls the out of 10 Amanda Nunez. If you don't know who she is, she's the GOAT of the UFC women's division. She's basically won in 3 different weight classes. She's a champion in 2 right now. She is unbelievable. So he was on cloud 9 thinking he's running away with it. Then Michael goes and starts opening his box. And of course, he pulls a gold Prism Auto Khabib Nurmagomedov,
Khabib, which is
the other
monster,
the other goat, and who's never lost a fight. He's 50-0, and so he's super excited today. He's running around the shop showing everybody like he won the golden ticket, but he actually did because we're looking the card up on eBay, and it should sell for way over $10,000.
Wow!
So $400. He ended up taking all of Jake's cards, which I thought he should have gave him his cards back after you hit a card worth $10,000. But no, Michael's not. He scooped the whole pot, ran away with it. He's like, hey, name of the game. That's how you do it. He would have took my cards. I'm taking it.
That's how he can buy that next box.
Yeah. Now, has he paid for the box yet? Because if not, you might have some rights to that card.
Oh, good call. Because I guarantee he put it on a layaway plan.
Correct.
Because he likes to put stuff on layaway. Great call. I'm going to look into that because I might be entitled to like 10% or something.
Exactly.
Well, you know, and speaking of the box battles too, and that's something else that we talked about is that you guys can watch. We are talking about bringing some shows that one of them will actually allow people to battle both packs and like blaster boxes against each other, keeping it where it's an affordable. We don't want you to, online we're gonna not put up, national treasures against national treasures unless you guys get crazy and want it. But I think we can do some stuff with everybody and give everybody a chance to kind of battle it out, and I think that'd be fun. So that's something we're looking at, guys. So,
they are fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, moving us into the plus and minus for the week with Steve. What is on the docket for plus or minus this week?
Well, I'll tell you, one is a product discussion, and that's 2020 Select football. Still got some jumbos, sell those here in the store, and you're kind of out of that product. And the reason being is because that product has kind of jumped a little bit. And what you're seeing is guys are going out and realizing that there were a lot of really good hits that haven't been hit yet in this product, that they can't find track record. They're not able to find these cards that they've been looking for. Guys chasing zebras and chasing some of these things that you didn't realize. And I saw a Cam Akers zebra get hit the other night. Even some of that stuff that, sure, it's Cam Akers, but again, it's another zebra. There's a lot of stuff, but what I'm seeing is that this is trending where like blaster boxes were selling in that like $70, $75 range. They're now selling in that $90 to $95 range. And what that's telling me is that there's a lot of guys that are looking for this product and the cards individually. I'm seeing a bunch of especially when you think of the namestakes, the Burrows, even Hurts, is another one. These guys are going out and really kind of picking that product up because one, it's a really nice product set. It was a really good looking card set.
It was, yep.
And two, I think that there's this potential investment value on some of that stuff that like was being missed, and especially when you get to the mid-tier stuff, right? Yeah.
The thing that I think has going for products like Select and products like Prism, and so when these products released, Panini was at $350 a card to get it graded. Yeah. That was the only service they allowed. Beckett, same thing. The only service they allowed was $300. So now you're looking at these cards. So this Burrow Prism Silver, I'm going to hold off on weight on it. Same thing with the Select.
Right.
Oh, this Select Concourse Silver, I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to spend. And me too. We have stacks of them in the back that we put in our hold pile because I'm not spending $300 on a car that could potentially be worth less than $300 to $400.
Right.
But now it's going down. We're into the $100 range, and I think we're going to hit another step lower than that probably by the first of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think guys are starting to realize like, oh, crap, I can get this Select product. I can hold. Now it's a shorter hold.
Right.
For 4 or 5 months ago, it was you got to hold that for a year.
Yeah.
Now you're talking 3 to 4 months that we might be able to get a lower level of PSA or BGS to get these cards graded. And that obviously, when you get that PSA 10, you're looking times 4 or times 5 the value.
Yeah.
And that's huge. By spending that extra $100 and you can get 5 times the value, that's pretty damn good.
And what really caught me off on this too is that I was watching a lot of better cards on lower players, and I think like Jonathan Taylor is like a good example,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you're seeing some of his stuff in this product like starting to jump up in price, and it's almost like a time where if you're not a big Jonathan Taylor fan, this might be a time to sell some of that stuff and turn it into other stuff that you want, because people are looking for these lines. They're looking for this stuff, and this product in particular, I think that people were so concerned it was going to be like flooded, but I don't think they realized how much was in the product, that there were so many different cards in
Because
there.
there was a lot of it at the start, but like you're saying now, you're starting to see it just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
Like it's not, so it runs out. You know what I mean? It stops.
Yeah, no, and
So
that's
it's
what
like-
the one thing that crushed. So Select came out on fire. It was on fire for about 3 weeks,
Yep.
and then the retail got released, and then it mass produced in retail, and everybody's like, "Oh crap, I don't want this stuff. It's mass produced." Well, there's only so many Select Concourse Silvers.
Right.
There's only so many
Yeah.
premier level silvers. So now guys are realizing, oh, maybe they did make a lot of it, but most of the retail stuff and the reds and the greens, non-numbered stuff, yeah, they did make a ton of that. But that's never going to carry the value anyways. You're still looking for the numbered stuff and the zebras and those crazy off-the-wall stuff that they did. They even had the dragon prints and all the crazy prints that they had this last year. That stuff's still going to bring value. And it's
Right.
going to bring a
Because
premium
it's still
value.
rare.
It's
and
still
again,
rare.
there's big cards that, to our knowledge, and they could be, but to general knowledge, haven't been hit. And I think that's another thing. So that was one thing. The next thing is I want to talk about Steph Curry. And what I want to talk about on Steph is obviously he's having an incredible year, averaging almost 30 points, starting to kill it in assists.
Yep.
And really seems like he's shouldering that team. His cards, especially like rookie stuff, I think are still fairly undervalued. The big cards are obviously crazy, but that next step down in his stuff is still pretty affordable. And I just look at this as an opportunity where you've got a guy that literally is going to be, I believe, one of the faces on the Mount Rushmore of basketball at some point.
When it's all said and done.
When it's all said and done with what he's done and how
How
he's
can he
changed
not
the
be?
game. Right. He is single-handedly the one guy in the NBA right now, and I think everybody thought it was Luka, but he's singly the one safe investment at this point, because I think LeBron has already kind of had that, right? He's the one safe investment for you to grab some of those even later autos, numbered cards, parallels, that down the road, people are going to be talking about the guy hitting 50-foot jumpers, and you know what I mean? Like, so I just think that this is still a good time for you to be able to buy Steph Curry. And even though, yeah, he's got that incredible season and people are running out for it, I think you still have an opportunity to be able to pick up some nice stuff. So don't miss it, because this could be that opportunity. Because I think if he goes out, wins the MVP, they're at least in the finals or in the discussion of the finals this year. I believe there's going to be some really heavy talk on what he did with this team. And to mention that, what he's done with this team,
With other players.
holy Jordan Poole. Now, you want to talk about, you talk about, like, they used to talk about Kobe, like, he would make people better, right? And you're talking about Steph is making Jordan Poole better. He's literally a mirror image of Steph on the floor when Steph's not on, and the best supporting Robin in the in the game
right now, yeah.
when he's out there, and he's hitting shots, but he's playing defense. He's in the right spot. He's doing things in the offense that they're asking for him. You watch it night and night again, and he's dishing the ball just like Steph, and that's scary because usually a guy like that is a little more selfish because he's getting dished the ball.
Right.
And they're adding that extra pass, and that's what's really...
What do you think happens to him when Klay Thompson comes back? Because he's coming back. He'll be back really relatively soon.
Right, and we talked about that. Like, will he mess up the chemistry that's going on? And I know he's been around. I know he's been there at the practice facility. But like, will it mess with the chemistry? Will it mess with the flow?
Well, I don't think so. And the reason being is because I think that the guys that lose time are really those bottom role players that aren't really giving you much anyways in the first place. And the fact that you can take Steph off the floor, Poole can handle the ball, and you can intermix Klay with those guys.
Yeah, because Klay's always been that catch and shoot type guy. He's never been one to like make the play, get open like Curry, running all over, running into 13 screens and then catching the ball. Klay's never been that guy. He's always been the guy sitting in the corner waiting for Curry to get him the ball somehow and make the shot. He's always made the shot, don't get me wrong, but he's not that I'm going to get myself open type guy. He's a catch and shoot type player.
And honestly, what do I think happens? I think it gives a little bit of rest and reprieve to Steph.
I think he's going to need it.
Yeah. So you're going to see that, and that's going to be a really good thing. And it's because of the way the team's built right now, and then obviously Wiseman returning, right? Those things are going to be detrimental to this team's success because it's going to give them an opportunity to really be able to look at everything and see if they're able to turn this team into less minutes, distribute a little bit more of the point distribution, but it's not going to be a fall off for everybody. You're not going to see it. And Jordan Poole cards right now, I mean, if you haven't started going out and trying to scoop some up, that you might want to get that done.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking this. You start looking at that 1920 basketball product that it was so top heavy with Zion and Ja.
That's all anybody wanted to talk about.
And now you've got him, Tyler Hero, right?
Yeah.
And there's a group of other guys from that class that are also starting to step up and do fairly big things too. But those guys right there, that product is going to pop. So if you haven't been buying that 1920 product that's still out there, this might be a good chance to be able to grab some of that stuff, especially before Zion comes back. Because when Zion comes back, people are going to be put back on notice, and he's going to be talking about not wanting to be in New Orleans. And that is going to set the basketball world on fire because you're going to have everybody from LeBron all the way to KD and all those guys recruiting, right?
But we all know that he's going to the Knicks.
Of course.
Do you want to talk about the Knicks at all or no?
No mention of the Knicks.
But seriously, I think that that's a thing. And then one last thing I want to mention to you guys is that a lot of times we think when something catastrophic happens with a player that it almost isn't anything, right? We're in a really weird society right now where people are really tied into current events. And the Henry Ruggs situation was really unique here because he was on the news so much and continues to be on the national news and in the forefront with what happened, that it almost reminds me of the Aaron Hernandez thing where people started really going out, and even today Aaron Hernandez stuff is desirable. Guys buy the cards, it's kind of morbid in a way to do that. So you might have thought all my Henry Ruggs cards are junk. But believe it or not, people are buying them. And I even seen base select rookies selling for, $2 plus. They're still selling. People are buying them. Someone is buying them. Well, so if you have this stuff.
It reminds me of the Mark Jackson hoops card that had the Menendez brothers sitting courtside. And it was an accident. It wasn't even meant to be a picture of them, but it has the Menendez brothers after they had killed their parents sitting courtside with the money they stole from their parents at a Knicks game, and they happen to be in the background of that Mark Jackson card. And people are buying that card because of that.
And it's still a card that people buy.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying here is, I think of this, and it's kind of sad when you have an up-and-coming player, someone who's really, and I think of Oscar Tavares, right? That's who jumps out to me, the Cardinal slugger that, was going to be the next thing. And he dies in a car accident, and overnight, his cards are worth nothing. Yet this completely off the field, non-sports related, because it drives to the general market, and this is where it happens. This is an opportunity for you that, your rugs, RPA isn't worth what it was at one point, but you can still sell it, but you got to sell it now.
Yeah, and so for us here at Game Day, I've always gone to the side of everything goes away for 30 days. So anytime there's a tragedy, anytime there's something that goes on with the player that is not, politically correct or something like that, we take everything off the market for 30 days. That's our policy. Yeah. That's the way we do it here. Just because, to be honest with you, I don't care about the money as more so as like that other family that was involved in this car crash. If you post that up online and they see something you're trying to make money off this guy that just killed my daughter.
Right.
It's like one of those things where you're like, ugh. Us here, we pull everything off for 30 days. Luckily for us, we pulled everything off. It was sitting in the back, and the guy stole everything. So he ended up walking away with about 95 Henry Ruggs cards. But because we're directly across the street from the practice facility, so we have a lot of people come in here that are Raiders fans. They ask about Derek Carr and Henry Ruggs and Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller. So we have a lot of those products. However, that guy walked away with about 65 Henry Ruggs cards. So he's probably a little upset once he looks in the bag and realizes, oh boy, what did I get here?
The entire Henry Ruggs collection.
Well, this is the thing where I think that the approach here is exactly the way it should be. Marketplace will dictate. If you're a private collector, you're sitting at home and this is something, maybe especially if you invested into it, to be able to get some of your money back, at least as an opportunity to be able to do that at this point. Going out and blindsiding the market, I'm not a big fan of. And I think of, especially from the toy world, I think of like when they canceled the General Lee, right? Like everybody's running around, oh my gosh, they canceled the General Lee. I got to buy up everything I can. It's like, well, hold on. Like the stuff that you're buying is like from the 70s and 80s. They weren't making it now anyways. Right. So the same amount of products out there. It creates like that demand, and guys go out and try to take advantage of that market. Yeah. I'm not saying take advantage of this market. I'm saying this is an opportunity for you that at this point you would have thought you're not going to have this, and you at least might be able to move it at this point, whereas another 90 days, 120 days down the road when the hot topic is kind of changed, I don't know if that necessarily is going to be the case for him.
No, 100%. You're 100% right that if there's any value to any of the Ruggs cards, it's going to be in the next couple weeks. Other than that, it's going to be dead.
And someone tells me that a guy that did steal those cards doesn't have the same moral compass, so he probably
definitely doesn't.
He probably didn't sit there and think about that.
So true. Well, guys, once again, a great episode number 3. It's been fun getting to do this. Each time we're trying to get better and better. If you have any suggestions, insight, want to jump in on the podcast, please let us know. We'd love to get your guys' insight. We will start bringing in, other people into the podcast, other celebrities, other people in all of our worlds that we already know. So if you have anything or have any suggestions with that, you want to come on to the Game Day Huddle, let us know and we'll get you on in here.
Yeah, definitely. And again, don't forget tonight, go on, halftime, Monday Night Football, catch Jay. He'll be ripping product live for you. And what's some of the stuff you got?
You're going to be watching tonight because it's the Rams, obviously Odell's first game. But I still have a lot of the stuff that I had last week. But there's some new stuff that hit the stores that I'm going to be taking home tonight. I like to come in on Mondays because I like to see what just hit the store, and then I actually bring some of it home. So some of the new stuff will be at the house. I do have some 1920 hoops.
There you go.
And I do have, I believe, one box. I have to double check, but I think I have one box of Optic from 1920 that we just talked about,
so
the basketball.
You can go Jordan Poole hunting.
Yeah. Jordan Poole hunting.
And John Morant.
All right, boys. From all of us here in Las Vegas, I'm Jimmy. That's Jay. That's Steve. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys back here next week, same time.
All right, let's go Monster Hunt, guys.
Let's go Monster Hunt.
Let's do it.
Halftime on Monday nights, you can join us for Jay's Halftime Blitz, the sports card rip and ship show. You can get cool products, so make sure you check us out. Game Day